we're going to try this again. We've figured out maybe some workarounds so that I can let you guys hear the game audio. It's probably not going to be super high quality, but should be okay. But we are going to try streaming or recording today Chapter 9 of The Crown and the Flame, Book 3. You notice you guys have skipped over Chapter 8. I have played it. So to catch you all up on what happened there, we played as Kenna on our way to Aurelia, where we dropped off the Queen of Aurelia. She's going to help her people. We are going to confront Hex and Dom. Dom appears to be fully mind-controlled now and under Hex's control as a dragon. So we had a bit of a showdown with him and Sei as a dragon, in which Sei has been at least temporarily defeated, and we left off on a cliffhanger where Dom appears about to kill Kenna, and I have chosen to have her drop her sword and refuse to harm her friend. So we'll see how this pays off. I mean, we're only in 9 of 17, so I'm going to guess she's not going to die. But as we're about to start, the little teaser here is that Dom must do everything in his power to resist Hex's mind control. Can he defeat his demons once and for all and save Kenna's life? All right, so this is Chapter 9, The Last Chance. Okay, yeah, we're not. It's okay. Alright, so hopefully this isn't going to be too bad. I'm going to try to get in an angle here where it's going to be harder to hear it through both microphones instead of just the one. So we're going to keep jigging with this until we get it right. So we are now playing as Dom. Under Hex's control, you're nearly defeated, trying to resist Shadow Kenna in the spirit world, which is where we do our training, with the last of your strength. I won't give in. I won't give up. There's no need for rage, Dom. You're nearly there. Just do this one last thing for me, and it'll all be over. Go ahead. Show me something horrible. I'll break free. I'll still find the good in whatever it is. This is one of the tips that we were given to navigate the shadow world, and the challenges that we have there is to try to find the good in any situation. So, now why would I show you something horrible? After all, I love you, Dom. Yeah, that's convincing. Okay. You. And now we are having a memory, a flashback to something that that happened in an extended scene that I chose to buy. This is the only extended scene that I've chosen to buy so far in The Crown and the Flame. So you're holding Kenna by the hand, leading her through the forest. Well, I am kind of fond of you. Kind of fond? Wait, this is when we met in the forest before the battle against Luther. This is a memory. A good memory. Dominic Hunter, have you lost your mind? Did Sei knock you upside the head during your training? No. I should say, I'm fine, Kenner, this isn't real. This isn't real. Let me go! You cry out, and the world around you begins to crumble. Hexcon, you snapped out of Hex's mind control prison in time. Now! Kenna's face transforms, growing dark and gaunt before your eyes. No! You're standing at the edge of a precipice on the mountainside, your jaw inches from biting into Kenna. Kenna! Alright, so we have managed not to kill our girlfriend, and also, yeah, defeated the mind control, so that's promising. I... Where am I? Kenna clutches at her side, blood running down the side of her mouth. Kenna, was that... Did I... It's nothing. I'm so sorry. Yeah, by the way, she got clawed with a dragon talon, so I really feel like this isn't nothing. That's a significant injury there, Kenna. Dom, listen to me. Hex is still controlling you somehow. If you let us capture her, we can force her to release you. She's using the device on the back of my neck. You have to... And we're getting drawn back into the spirit world again, so with a flash, you find yourself back in Hex's mind control prison, Kenna standing before you. No! I need to go back! Let me go! No one's stopping you, Dom. If you want to go back, then go. We only have one choice, so I don't know why they're having us make it. Will myself back. Concentrating, you find yourself back in reality, one claw raised, ready to crush Kenna like an insect. We have impulse control issues in this, don't we? God, Dom. Come on now. Get with the program. I'm back? Dom? Quick, Kenna! You have to cut it out! You bow, bringing your neck down to Kenna's height so that she can reach the device. She nods, moving to stand just beside you. I understand. Just hold still. I can't wait to be myself again. It's been so long. That it has, but... Well, I'm sorry, Dom. Huh? Tendrils of smoke coil around Kenna as she raises her sword. Ooh, did we just get mind-tricked? I think we did. Ah! Yep, we did. Alright, cool. Oh, she brings the sword down with all her might, slicing clean through your neck. That's unfortunate. Ah! And you find yourself back in Hex's mind control prison, Shadow Kenna laughing over you. Quit playing games with my mind. Games? Oh, Dom, the game hasn't even started yet. That was just the setup. This is the real game. You're back on the mountainside and see Kenna running towards you as she raises her sword. Ah! Terrified, you lash out with your claw, slamming her backward. Ah! Kenna flies back, her body skidding to a stop at the edge of a cliff. You stomp towards her. Get out of my head! Dom, wait! This isn't in your head! This is real! Oh, great. So now, oh god. Oh, poor Dom. You're gonna need so much therapy when this is over, sweetheart. Oh. You hesitate, a sliver of doubt creeping in. Prove it! Prove you're the real Kenna! Okay, just let me think. Oh, when we were kids, there was that guard's son that always picked on you. Caleb? I remember him. You're just using my memories against me. Genre savvy. Let me finish. Do you remember why he stopped tormenting you? No, he just stopped one day. He stopped because I threatened to have him executed. Wow, that's a little dark for you, Kenna, honestly. Like, damn. You what? No wonder he ran in the other direction whenever he saw you. He was hurting my friend. I did the only thing I could think of. Is that enough proof for you? Do you trust me now? Oh, I should kill this Kenna or trust her? I feel like the answer is never going to be killing your lover, honestly, because, like, even if it's the quote-unquote right decision, it's still gonna leave you with a lot of, like, psychological damage, which can be interesting, but I don't think this is really looking to explore. So, I'm going to trust her. What's the worst that can happen? We die? You bow your head, exposing the back of your neck to Kenna's sword. Are you sure? We don't know how this thing works. Removing it could kill you. I'm pretty sure he has contractual immortality. Otherwise, I feel like we wouldn't have been able to, like, read the book about his parents, because it, like, since we didn't, it says there'll always be a mystery to him, but if we'd have read the book about his parents, it implies that we would have been able to tell him someday, so I'm pretty sure you're fine. I trust you, Kenna. We're gonna see how this ends. Then let's get this thing out of you, once and for all. Kenna wedges her sword underneath the metal device, throwing her weight down on the blade handle. You feel the device begin to lift, steel prongs ripping at your skin. This might hurt. You think? I mean, it's only like, Matrix style lodged in the base of his skull or something, like, in all of his neural network pathways and shit. Like, again, contractual immortality. I feel like he's gonna be fine. Kenna pushes down as hard as she can on the blade handle, and the device finally tears free of your neck. Arrgh! Your world becomes an explosion of sparks, and you feel yourself falling. You regain your human form as you hit the ground. In the next instant, Kenna is at your side. Dom! Are you alright? Tell me you're alright. So we got a legend point, so cool. I'm alright. I'm back, Kenna. I'm also going to pass out now. I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's very fair. Go right ahead. You've earned a little rest. You rest your head in Kenna's lap, and she reaches down to gently stroke your hair. Smiling, you drift into a warm, healing sleep. Aw, that's cute. So we're now playing as Whitlock. Whitlock is the little nerdy kid that I had intended for Queen Orin, but apparently we're not going to get to do that, and that's sad. But we're now playing as Whitlock. Watching through the airship's tall windows, you breathe a long sigh of relief as you watch Kenna tending to an unconscious Dom. That sounds awful, tending to an unconscious Dom. I feel like they didn't think this through. They did it. Thank goodness. You scan the scenery, spotting Diavolos and Jackson helping a battered Say climb out of the chasm. Excellent. Everyone's accounted for except Annalise, who is the Queen of Aurelia, and... You pause as a flash of movement catches your attention. Looking closer, you catch sight of a tall figure just as it disappears behind a ridge. Hex, the evil mastermind of all the diabolical science things. She is a former technocrat, which is what Whitlock is the leader of. I don't know if he properly calls himself a king, but the leader, she was the former leader, she was his foster mother to boot, so there's some love lost there. Hex. Without another thought, you turn and sprint down the airship ramp, because apparently you have no sense of self-preservation either. By the way, Whitlock up until now was a pacifist who didn't like killing people, and then at the start of this book he finally decided that he needed to start making weapons that would kill. Or at the start of the last book he decided. So, yeah, this has been quite a little turnaround for poor little Whitlock. You hit the stone path and keep running. Whitlock? What? Hey, stop! Will Jackson is another former mercenary who was a former Stormholt soldier who is now a personal bodyguard since our champion got killed. You barely register their shouting. You continue to run, catching brief glimpses of Hex between the rocks. All reason has left you, all clever calculations and logic. The only thing you feel is rage. You're not getting away this time. You follow Hex to her airship, eventually finding your way to her lab. Inside, Hex rifles through shelves and cabinets, throwing their contents to the floor. Where did I put it? Blasted girl has to pay. I'll send her screaming to the bottom of the... Aha! Hex retrieves a compact crossbow from a shelf and turns to leave, then sees you standing in the doorway. She stops dead in her tracks. Whitlock! When did you... Hex looks down at the crossbow in her hand, suddenly dropping it on the floor and backing away. Oh yeah, this ain't a trap. Whitlock, honey. Honey. You were there? Did you see? No, he didn't see a damn thing. Come on, Hex, what do you think? I saw everything. How could you do it, Hex? How could you... So we have the options of toy with Dom's mind, try to murder Kenna, or destroy Aurelia. Well, again, like I said, up until now, Whitlock was a pacifist. So, murder or destroying the city? I think we're gonna go with destroy Aurelia. Aurelia is a peaceful kingdom. They weren't hurting anyone. In what twisted world did they deserve this? I know they seemed good, but the rich still flaunted their wealth instead of sharing it. They represented everything that was wrong with the good rulers of this world. I had to stop. Just stop. Do you even hear yourself? Can you even see how far you've fallen from reason? I've fallen from reason. What about you, O leader of the technocrats? What about the weapons you've made for Queen Kenna? Oh, you did your best to make them non-lethal at first, but I recognized your handiwork on those ballistas too. Okay, but the ballistas were made specifically to bring down airships, which, yeah, probably killed some people, but that was still mostly a defensive move, so, like, I feel like Whitlock is mostly in the clear here. Are you so naive as to think no one died when you shot my airships out of the sky? Well, we can help. If you didn't include, like, flotation devices and shit, that's not my problem, Hex. I know exactly how many died. You bend down, snatching Hex's crossbow from the ground and leveling it at her chest. Whoa, Whitlock, honey, whoa, we're getting dark now. Goddamn. Easy, boy. I looked at Luther's troop manifests. I did the math. I calculated exactly how many lives were lost because you forced me to play by your rules. Hex stares at the crossbow, then into your eyes. Your hands are trembling, but your aim does not waver. Whitlock, you wouldn't. Not that. I don't know. Like, he's kind of scaring me here a little. I feel like maybe he would. Why not? I'm already complicit in hundreds of deaths. If this is the only way to stop you, then this is what I have to do. But first, I need to know. So we have the options to ask her, why are you like this? Are you happy with what I've become? Or was I just another tool to you? Are you happy with what I've become, like, is a little bit judgy? But I also feel like, judgy is probably warranted here. Was I just another tool to you? Is also a little bit judgy, but probably perfectly valid. Or why are you like this? Why are you like this is a nice open-ended question, so I think I'm gonna go with that. Why are you like this? If you knew what my life was like before I came to the Foundry, you wouldn't ask me that. If you'd been through what I... Hex trails off, her shoulders slumping. No. You might understand, but you would never do the things I've done. All I ever wanted was to protect you from the evils of the world. Your grip tightens on the crossbow. If that was really your design, then it's been a spectacular failure. Hex collapses to her knees, tears streaming down her face. When you banished me, I was just so lost. I fell even deeper into my work. I told myself that once you saw my better world, you'd understand. I should never have taken you in, but you were so bright and so brave. I thought maybe if you never saw who I really was. Hex suddenly reaches for the long silver dagger at her belt. Stop! I'll pull this trigger, I swear! No, you won't. In one quick motion, Hex unsheathes her dagger and holds it against her own throat. Oh no, bad way to go. No, no. Oh, here's our ad. Sorry about that, guys. Still working with the free version here. Alright. And holds it against her own throat. Hex, what are you? I won't let my sweet boy become a murderer. Oh no, so, like, suicide, like, murder by proxy via suicide here is a way better option, I guess. No, this is a bad way to go. There are so many better ways. Like, this is actually fairly difficult, and yeah, no, let's just not. I won't let my sweet boy become a murderer. Just promise me. Promise that you won't follow the same path that I did. Oh God. Oh, please no. Promise me that you'll stay my sweet boy. The crossbow clatters to the ground as you lunge forward, slapping the dagger out of Hex's hand. Whitlock! I... You feel tears building in your eyes. Slowly, pleadingly, Hex reaches out, and you let her gather you into a hug. Oh, this seems really sweet, but I also feel like this is a trap, so now I'm a little worried. You return the embrace, and Hex clings to you like a drowning woman, sobbing against your shoulder. I missed you so much, Whitlock. Can you ever forgive me? Hex, and we have the option to say, I want to, I don't know, or I can't. Whitlock, like, this was his mom, basically. This was someone who took him in and, like, raised him and kind of saved his life, so I feel like he would maybe, like, try to be understanding about what's gone on here, but, like, she's also killed a lot of people and enslaved people, which is bad. So, I'm gonna say I don't know. You've done so many terrible things, Hex. Hex says, I know, but I swear I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it right. Hex pulls away, clasping your hands in hers. I'll release the rest of the technocrats right now. I'll surrender my ship, all my weapons and inventions. Then, just take me to Queen Kenna and I'll throw myself on her mercy. I know that's not close to enough, but... Hex trails off, her eyes showing fear, desperation, and a gleam of hope. It's a start. So now we're playing as Dom. So, after being startled awake by shouting, you watch Say, Jackson, and a man you don't recognize chase off after Whitlock. Kenna retrieves one of your spare tunics from her airship. Oh dear, did we transform naked? Do we have magic pants on? Or are we just, like, buck-ass nude in front of everybody? I mean, damn. Okay. Well, we're gonna say he has magic pants on because, like, you never see them from the waist down anyway. So yeah, he's got magic pants on. Anyway, Kenna retrieves one of your spare tunics from her airship, and you wince as she helps you into it. Hex, what I wouldn't give to be going after her right now. Don't even think about it. I'm not about to let you die from exhaustion after all the work I put into saving you. Oh, Kenna, you're so sentimental, really. Like, damn. Besides, do you really want to get between Say and Hex right now? I swear I saw flames shooting from Say's eyes. So, yeah, like, Say has every reason to be pissed off at Hex because Hex enslaved her, forced her to run, like, a fire magic cannon. Then she enslaved and mind-controlled her friend, her childhood friend, who was basically, like, the prototype of Dom but wasn't as strong. And, like, then she enslaved Dom, who Say was, you know, getting kind of fond of. Not that she wanted to pick out curtains or anything. Not really. Anyway, once Say drags Hex's probably lifeless body back here, what's the plan? We fly back to Stormholt and prepare for battle. Battle? Is it that time already? I feel like there's usually more lead up. Oh, genre savvy again, damn. Okay. Well, usually you don't spend several weeks trapped inside a technocrat mind prison. Oh, touche. True. So, we have the option to ask her, are you and Say best friends now? What did I miss while I was out? Or did you do something new to your hair? She did nothing new to her hair, Dom. Like, she's always had that, you know, long brown hair. Sometimes she puts it in an updo if you buy her, like, a fancy outfit or something. But, so we're not going to ask that, because we're not an idiot. So we've got the option of, are you and Say best friends now? Or what did I miss while I was out? I feel like what did I miss while I was out covered everything. So let's do that. Actually, we all ran away to join a band of traveling minstrels. I'm a juggler now. Oh, Kenna. Wow. Okay. Dominic says, come on, tell me. What happened after we defeated Luther? Who are we fighting in this battle you mentioned? This is a very valid question. He has no idea. There's a lot. Can we leave all that until later? Sure. Kenna nods gratefully, and you can sense the deep hurt barely contained within her. You know, I always thought you were missing your calling as a juggler. Wow, Dom, like, nice try, but I feel like this isn't really gonna do much. Kenna, oh, okay, she's a little bit happier, alright. Oh? You should have told me sooner. Could have saved me a lot of trouble. Kenna, the past few weeks, months, however long, it's been hard. For a while, I thought I wouldn't make it. Oh, we're gonna get sappy now. Okay, hang on. All right, y'all. The romance part is about to begin here. Dom, you reach out, wrapping your arm around Kenna's shoulders. But I did make it, thanks to you. You brought me back, Kenna. I'm forever grateful for that. Oh, and how do you plan to show your gratitude? Wow. Wow, so full disclosure, that scene that I bought, um, that kind of ends with them consummating their relationship, if you will. So, kind of might be expecting some things. So we're gonna find out. Well, for starters, how about oh, yep, so you have the option to buy the upgrade of coming to her room tonight, which is clearly what they want you to do, and if this were my romance novel that I was playing, I would be perfectly happy to spend 16 diamonds to make that happen, but as of right now, I'm saving up for making the Twitch stream story a little bit better. Maybe someday, like I said in the previous video, we'll come back and we'll play this game, and we'll be able to buy the premium upgrades to this one, and you know, we can try to make some royal fire babies before the end of the series. Instead, we're going to buy her a drink back at Stormhold. Kenna, to her, you know, to her credit, does not appear disappointed. I'm gonna need several drinks when we get back to Stormhold, possibly a whole barrel. 1 barrel of Stormhold's finest mead coming right up. You hear rocks sliding down the slope nearby. Kenna springs to her feet, one hand on her sword. Who's there? Scanning the gray landscape, you quickly spot a flash of gold emerging from behind a boulder. Ooh, I wonder who this is. Ah, it's Annalise, the Queen of Aurelia. Just a few friends. Did we win? She's very prim and very, like, uber femme, which I like, because she kind of hangs around and she has that without being, like, she's not made to look like an idiot, which is wonderful. She's actually made to look fairly politically savvy while still being very into, like, the pretty stuff. It's wonderful. So, Kenna rushes over, and the two women share an embrace. By the way, you do have the option to start a romantic relationship with her as well, with Kenna, if you want to be a bit of a rounder here. And the two women share an embrace. Behind Annalise, you see a long line of people emerging from a hidden opening in the mountain. So we added a few people to our army. The low number means they're probably not all that great, but Annalise must have snuck into the city to evacuate her people. Well, Dom, you're not entirely stupid. Okay. Painfully, you get to your feet and walk over to Kenna and Annalise. I managed to evacuate a few thousand, and they should have enough supplies to last for a week or more. You're amazing, Annalise. I can't believe you saved so many. I'm just happy I didn't get lost in the mines. I haven't been down there in ages. So yeah, in the first book, we infiltrate through the mines at one point, and we have the option to recruit a bear with a thorn in his mouth. That's why he's attacking us. And if you didn't buy the premium upgrade, you have to kill him, which, you know, yeah, thanks for the gut punch of, like, making me feel bad for not buying your premium upgrade. My people will need a place to stay until the city is rebuilt. I'm not sure where I'm going to put them all. No, I wonder where we're going to put them. Why don't they come with us to Stormhold, camp in the grasslands, or stay here? Stay here with their city that's on fire. Dom, good God, like, you lit this city on fire. Do you really think that they want to stay here? Oh, honey, I thought you were smart. Come with us to Stormholt seems like, you know, the valid option. Camping in the grasslands seems dangerous, so come with us to Stormholt. That way we can watch over them. Dom, War is coming to Stormholt. It won't be safe for them there. It won't be safe for them anywhere, Kenna. Oh, right. I think I'll have them camp in the grasslands for now. Plenty of space, and it should be far enough from the fighting. Okay, so probably if we'd have chosen camp in the grasslands, we probably would have gotten a legend point, which, that's disappointing, but, it should probably only be one. And honestly, I really don't feel like camping in the grasslands is that safe. You can see everybody coming, but you also have nowhere to hide. So, and they can just, light the grasslands on fire and kill you that way. So, no, I don't like this plan, but that's what they're gonna do. Annalise glances at you, a pained look flashing across her face. Please excuse me. Annalise moves away to speak to a woman in an ash-covered gown. Oh no. Gods. Annalise must hate me so much. Of course she doesn't hate you. We all know Hex was the one in control. Still, it must be hard for her to even look at me. I know I can hardly bear to look at her in the eye after what happened. Just go talk to her. She's tougher than you think. Maybe that's what I'm afraid of. You walk over to Annalise and tap her on the shoulder. Oh, hello, Dom. Did you need something? Annalise, I just want you to know... What should I say? I'm so sorry, or I tried to resist. No, don't make excuses for yourself, Dom. That's not how you apologize. When you deliver an apology, it's not about you. It's about the person that's hurt. So no one cares that you tried to resist. Everybody knows you tried to resist. So instead, say, I'm so sorry. Take responsibility. Dom, you don't have to apologize. I know it wasn't really you that did this. Yeah, but you still should say you're sorry. I know it wasn't, but I was still there. I could see it happening. I could hear the screams, see the buildings burn. I could feel... What did I say, Dom? This isn't about you. Good God, don't tell this woman about how her city got destroyed. Oh my God, you suck. Come on, white boy. Okay, alright, I could feel... Your voice breaks, and you realize your whole body is shaking. You clench your teeth, balling your hands tightly into fists. I feel like I failed. Dom, no. Annalise grabs you by the shoulders. Annalise is 500% done with your shit here, Dom. Okay. Dom, this was not your fault. Do you hear me? None of it. Say it. It wasn't my fault. Annalise pulls you into a tight embrace. You hug her back, tears welling up in your eyes. Thank you, Annalise. See, you should be comforting her, not the other way around. God, Jesus, okay, that's unfortunate. Thank you, Dom, for doing what you could. It's going to be all right. Look, the others are back! You and Annalise let each other go. Down the path, you see your friends returning with a shackled Hex in tow. Hex is silent and looking rather contrite, to her credit. Okay. Well, look who it is. So glad I get to either finally see you in chains or kill you myself. Wow, Dom, that's getting a little dark. Let's not just, go and kill people. I know Dom doesn't know what just happened between, Whitlock and Hex, but let's just finally get to finally see you in chains. Seriously, this sight is making my day. Hex bows her head, her jaw clenching. Hex surrendered voluntarily. Please, listen to what she has to say. Whitlock nods encouragingly to Hex, who takes a deep breath, then drops to one knee. I wanted to make a better world, and believed that I was the only one who knew how. I believed that the ends would justify my terrible means. But if Whitlock, the most intelligent and good-hearted person I have ever met, thinks I am wrong, then I must entertain the possibility. I offer my loyalty and service to Queen Kenna Reese of Stormholt, should she wish to accept it. Now, from what we know of Hex, she actually is quite loyal, so, this pledge probably doesn't mean nothing, but... okay, we'll see how this ends. Oh, and what possible reason would I have to accept that offer? I'll make weapons for you, or whatever other devices you wish. Well, we've already got somebody. Kenna turns to Whitlock. What do you have to say about this? Hex has shown true remorse for her actions. I believe she should be given the opportunity to make up for some of the evil she's done. Furthermore, I believe she intends to do just that. Watch. At Whitlock's gesture, Hex walks over to where Anton sits docile on a border. Anton, you need no longer obey my commands. Blackspine, Iron, Fortune, Bear. Oh, okay, so we got full on like Soviet era mind control safe words and stuff. Okay. Alright. At the sound of the odd phrase, Anton gives a sudden jump, looking around as if waking from a dream. You! Anton lunges at Hex, but Jackson brings him up short. Release me! She has to pay for what she's done. Friend, if you want to go after that lady, you're gonna have to wait in line. Ah, this is probably a damn fact. Nice gesture. Not sure I'm convinced, though. If we look at the situation pragmatically, I believe Hex will make a difference in the battle ahead. If she doesn't decide to blast us all into a million tiny pieces. Now, Annalise has a point here. Like, you probably should keep an eye on her. Well, I say we bring her. Who knows what sort of contraptions Azora will bring to the fight. Since when does he get a vote? Someone want to tell this guy how alliances work? I, for one, would enjoy keeping this harpy as a pet. Say knows her shit. Say bares her teeth at Hex. Perhaps if she is well behaved, I will let her eat my table scraps. Ooh, ooh. If the witch goes with you, then I will come as well. I want to keep an eye on her. Kenna thinks for a long while, then turns to look at you. What do you think, Dom? So, okay. You can pay 30 coins, 30 diamonds, to recruit Hex and Anton, or we can lock Hex in a cage and lose the key. Well, that's an awful steep price, so let's lock Hex in a cage and lose the key. She deserves that and worse for everything she's done. I don't care what she's offering. Very well. I thank you all for giving me my freedom. I will return home to the Dragon's Spine and rest easy knowing that this monster is behind bars. Anton clasps Say's shoulder, and she returns the gesture. I hope to see you again when this is over. And I you. Try not to die in the meantime. Without another word, Anton walks away down the twisting mountain path. Kenna sighs, motioning to Jackson and Diavolos. Find somewhere to lock her up until we reach Stormhold. By the way, Diavolos, is another one of Luther's sons who has been sent along because we're allies with Luther now. And apparently he thinks that gives him the right to, like, send other people on our missions. So that's cool. Yes, my queen. Come on, Hex. Let's find you a nice cozy cabinet somewhere. The two men pull Hex to her feet and begin marching her toward the airship. But stop in their tracks as Annalise moves to block their way. Just a moment, if you wouldn't mind. Hex's eyes widen in realization. You're the ruler of... I'm so sorry for what I did. I just want you to know that Hex is cut off as Annalise backhands her hard across the face. Get it, girl. Alright, cool. Ah! Sorry? You're sorry? Annalise slams her knee into Hex's stomach, then shoves her to the ground. I can't really say I blame her here. Annalise! Hex slowly gets to her feet, wincing as she wipes blood from her split lip. Well? I suppose I deserve far worse than that. Yes, you do. But blood is just so hard to wash out of silk. Oh, wow, okay. Like, okay. That just happened. Annalise smooths her gown as she steps aside, letting Hex pass. Is it just me, or has Annalise gotten a lot scarier lately? Remind me to tell you what she threatened to do to Hex on the way here. Now, let's be on our way. I want to reach Stormhold as quickly as possible. The next day, your airship lands in the fields in front of Stormhold. You pause for a moment as you disembark, looking up at the castle. So there is the Castle of Stormhold, which is looking decidedly absent of, or, does not have a hole in its side like what we drilled into it in Book 1, so I guess everybody works fast. It feels like it's been forever. Does the castle look smaller to you? Maybe a little. As you walk up the path, a soldier hurries out of the castle to meet you. Welcome home, Your Majesty. Thank you. How go the battle preparations? Half of your forces have returned from their stations across the 5 kingdoms. The rest should arrive in the next few days. All castle servants and nearby villagers have been evacuated to towns further east to keep them clear of the fighting. Good plan. I thought so. Any news from Fedoria? Not yet, but lookouts have spotted Val's airship on the horizon. She should be here within the hour. Oh, and Val's gonna have some bad news, if you guys recall, from the last video that we did. Yeah, she's not gonna like this. Perfect. Have her meet me in the throne room. Hope she brought some soldiers with her. We need all the help we can get. Well, she brought your own soldiers back, if that's what you mean. You enter the throne room, which is bustling with activity. Looks like the planning began without us. Let's see if we can get caught up. A few minutes later, you and Kenna are reviewing battle plans when the door to the throne room bursts open. Val storms in, followed by a small crowd. Where is she? Where's Kenna? I need to... Val flinches, clutching her chest. See, remember, she didn't get stitched up because she's like Little Miss Tough Girl who doesn't need medical treatment after being shot directly above the heart by Raydan. So, cool. Val! My gods, what happened? Azura took Fedoria. We never had a chance. Val suddenly wavers, and you and Kenna barely catch her before she falls over. Val, you need to rest. You're hurt. What I need is to pull Raydan's guts out through his ears. He betrayed us, Kenna. Raydan works for Azura now. Val's words fall like a sharp blow to the back of your head. Stunned, you turn to look at Kenna, whose face has gone deathly pale. This can't be. Raydan, you're gonna pay for this. Alright, so that then concludes our chapter, so let's see what our chapter progress here looks like. So, you were able to break free of Hex's mind control prison in time. It feels good to be yourself again. You had a hard heart-to-heart with Hex. She's forever changed her ways. You refused Hex's offer of loyalty. She'll spend the rest of her days in a dungeon, paying for her crimes. Val returned bearing bad news. Azura has taken Fedoria, and Raydan has turned against you. So, we end with our overall progress here. So Luther has been recruited. The wolf pup from the Iron Empire was not. Clover was not. Madeline was not. Zenobia, who is Luther's daughter who was holding Lycos, has been recruited. Florian has been recruited. Orin has not. And Hex and Anton both have not. So we're running out of people to recruit. But, you know, when you make me pay for it, that's kind of what happens. Our legend score is 41 now out of a possible 45. I'm pretty sure we missed one with the Grasslands decision, but that's okay. We have 0 out of 15 possible weapons, 15 out of 45 possible allies, 2 out of a possible 12 troops to collect, and we have made 40 out of 85 possible choices. Our army score now stands at 98 out of 202, so as usual, we're looking kind of lousy, but we'll be fine. So we've now reached the end of the chapter. We have the option to restart if we want to change our decisions, or we can continue on. I'm going to continue on, but first we're going to take a short break. I'm going to try tooling my sound system around here a little bit, and then we will continue with Chapter 9 in a few seconds. So stay tuned.
Oscar, wake up.
Time to leave. We sold the house.
We have to renovate this place. Skates, help save the mansion.
Okay, so we are back. Gotta get my audio back running, okay. Yeah, it's a little bit better. So we are now about to start Chapter 10 of The Crown and the Flame, Book 3. In this one, Raydan faces the consequences of betraying his friends and works to gain the trust of the Empress. So it looks like we're going to be playing as Raydan again. Alright, let's get this going. So Chapter 10, The Spymaster. So you're now playing as Raydan. In the dungeons of Fedoria, you sit in meditation, struggling to clear your troubled mind. Breathe. Just breathe. Feel the force all around you. No, just breathe. So we have a flashback to one of the chapters we previously played. I think this was chapter 7. Val saying, "If I ever see you again, I'll kill you, traitor." So that word traitor seems to be weighing heavily on his mind. "Val, forgive me." You rise and pace to the window. Beneath your shirt, you feel the weight of the anti-magic book you smuggled out of the Grand Library. Ooh, okay, so that was sneaky. Also, how big is your shirt and how small is this book? Like, because I've tried to, like, stuff books under my clothes before, just, like, as a kid because I thought that was cool. And that's, like, you can tell when there's a book there, so maybe he has magic pockets. Does he have magic pockets? I don't know. Maybe he has magic pockets. Well, but magic isn't common in the Five Kingdoms, so who the hell knows? Anyway. Raydan thinking to himself, if there's even a chance this book holds the key to defeating Azura, I must find someone to translate it. Woo, yeah, so he's trying to get the language skills of Azura's people to try to translate this book. I see. Oh, there's our ad. Give us 2 seconds here, y'all. Alright. Alright. Sorry about that. Alright. We must find someone to translate this book. Outside your cell, clanking footsteps mark the hourly patrol. 2 guards stop at your door and stand at rigid attention. Good morning, fine fellows. Do not address me, heretic. A fine day to you as well, my old friend. What do you nickname your guard? Ooh, okay. So their default here is Toady, which is adorable, but let's give him another name. What should we name him? Something. You know what? Let's call him Chad. Chad is a nice, like, kind of, like, pretentious dude name for, like, people you don't like. So, or should we do Chadwick? Let's do Chadwick. Let's go right on with Chadwick. And not Chadwick Boseman. Okay, but, like, yeah, Chadwick. Well, let's just call him Chad then. I don't want to insult Chadwick Boseman like that. So Chad. We're gonna call him Chad. I've told you to stop calling me that. My name is not Chad. Well, it is now, Chad. If you say so, Chad. Why do you mock me so? Do you people prefer to start each day with a beating? Well, you know. Enough. He is attempting to undermine your discipline. Oh, do we have a name for you too? Can we name you? Oh. He'd better be careful, or he just might succeed. Listen, spymaster. Your simple goading might work on the dumb brutes of this land, but we soldiers of the Empire aren't fooled so easily. You know, I feel like the Imperial officers in Star Wars say this all the time. and then they get outsmarted by people like Poe Dameron just going and like pretending to have a phone call, and then, oh no, I'll hold. Looking for General Hux. Okay, yeah, no. Okay, whatever. You feel better about yourself saying that, I guess. All right. Sauron Stormtrooper. Then it seems, so we have the option to say, I'll just have to try harder, or I finally met my match. So, Raydan is quite proud, but if we concede defeat, does that make us look better overall and make people, like, start to underestimate us? Or are they gonna think that we're posturing, which we almost certainly are, and trying to get the upper hand? I think we'll go with I finally met my match. We'll see how this ends. I finally met my match. Is he being sarcastic? The answer to that is yes, Chad. Certainly not. Certainly yes. The soldiers glance at one another, uncertain, then grunt and turn away. As you begin your morning exercises, the guards chatter between themselves. I'll admit, their food is disgusting and their dancing is inelegant, but there's something to this Fedorian music. All I hear when Fedorians play is the hissing of 1,000 snakes. Yeah, that's oddly important, I guess. Okay, the hissing of 1,000 snakes. Okay, cool. Those words. I recognize them. That's a passphrase used among agents of the Black Asps. That guard is speaking to me. Oh, okay. Cool, so apparently his sister is on top of shit. Cool, alright, go at her. What do you think about taking a patrol down to one of their taverns this evening? Oh no. Oh, we all know how this ends when, like, the invading force takes a quote-unquote patrol down to some place that, like, the locals hang out in. Y'all. Oh, that's awful. I'm so sorry, Fedoria. Like, we'll probably come and kill them all eventually. Or Azura will kill them herself, because Azura's, crown bitch of I must have 1 life per day to maintain my power. I think if you go drinking in a Fedorian pub, you'd best bring steel. Bring steel? He must be offering to break me out of here or sneak me a weapon. Bring steel does not sound like he's going to break us out of here, so we're going to say that he's offering to sneak me a weapon. Your friend is right. This city is likely on a knife's edge right now. The Black Asp agent nods. Yes! I read him correctly. Well, it's not like he was being that subtle. But, whatever. Will you ask the guard to sneak you a hidden blade? A weapon could come in handy in a tight spot. Oh, so we're gonna have to pay for it. So no, we're gonna lay low for now. Because, like, for all we know, as Raydan, we're gonna, like, compromise this guy's cover by having him sneak us a weapon. So we're gonna lay low. You shake your head discreetly. The Black Asp agent nods. He'll respect your decision. As the chattering guards continue their patrol, a door at the other end of the dungeons cracks open. A young girl enters. Oh, with the nice mood music. Oh, and she's like a little mini Azura. Oh no. Oh. She glances around for the guards, then tiptoes shyly up to your cell, carrying a tray of food. Hello. Hello there. Raydan, you cad, don't you dare. That's a little girl. We can tell that's a little girl. She sets the tray down and slides it carefully through the bars. When you bend to retrieve it, she flinches away. There is no need to be afraid, so we can say, I mean you no harm, or I don't eat children. Raydan, don't kind of try to, like, casually scare this little girl at the same time you're trying to reassure her. I mean you no harm. Thank you for the food. I had begun to think the Empire did not believe in hospitality. We do, sir. The Empress says that the civility of a people may be judged by the treatment of their lowliest prisoner. Yeah, like, sucking the life force from people without their consent. That's a great measure of the civility of a people. Then I am quite content to be the lowliest prisoner of the most civil empire in the world. Her face flickers between amusement and confusion. I mean, like, yeah. This girl may be able to give me a picture of what's happening in the palace, if I can gain her trust. My name is Leah. Raydan like hell. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Like hell. Okay, I feel like that's not how you're supposed to pronounce it, but that's how I'm saying it now. Raydan like hell. As you begin to eat, she comes a few steps closer. Your clothes. Are you from Aurelia, sir? You have a sharp eye. My clothes are indeed Aurelian, though I myself am from Lycos. She looks around nervously, then steps closer and whispers. My mother says people from the 5 kingdoms are barbarians, that most don't bother with clothes at all, because it gets in the way of drinking grog and wrestling bears. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't see how clothes would get in the way of drinking, but wrestling a bear, I could go with that. I can think of a few friends who might fit that assessment. Dude, we have yet to see anybody run around Starkers, with potential exception to Dom coming out of dragon form, but I still think he has magic pants on. But I've read books about the kingdoms in the library at Morelsi, so I know you're not all like that. I should say you like to read, or you're from Morelsi. Keep attention on stuff that she likes, I guess, so you like to read? Yes, sir. Then you shall have to explore the Grand Library of Enon while you're here. It's quite a marvel. I know I've gone back and forth on how Enon or Enon or whatever is pronounced. I think it's probably supposed to be Enon, but I shall. Leah steps up to the bars, now bubbling with curiosity. Sir, is it true that Lycos has sea monsters? Or that trees in Thorngate grow hard as steel? Or that people from Stormholt hold a festival where they can't... Slow down, slow down. At this rate, I'll be answering questions all day. So the Stormholt Festival she's talking about is the Beltane Festival, where earlier we heard an NPC say that a girl is as like to kiss you as look at you at Beltane, so apparently all the girls around the Beltane fire are entitled to as many kisses as we want. And we learned this in that extended scene that I bought, wherein some hanky-panky happened between Kenna and Dom, who apparently did spend a Beltane festival together when they were young. That was an upgrade that I did not buy to see what happened at Beltane, but whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. It's all right, but I have a better idea. Have you heard of Sly Fox Says? This is apparently a game. No, sir. It's a party game we play in Lycos. Foxes run wild there, you see, very clever creatures. They've learned many ways to feed themselves, and one of those ways is begging. Begging, okay. So they seek out friendly faces by observing people's appearances, and if they judge correctly, they get a meal. I see. How does the game work? We take turns observing facts about one another, then draw deductions, as you did with my clothes. If your deduction is correct, you get to ask me a question, and I must answer truthfully. What if you guess something correctly? Then you must answer a question of mine. Oh, good. So if I screw stuff up, we're gonna lose on, like, important game knowledge. Alright, we're good. We can do this. Leah bites her lip, uncertain, but her curiosity wins out. Okay, let's play. I'll start. Sly Fox sees that you have a formal manner of speaking and an excellent vocabulary. Sly Fox says, so we have the options of you're a laborer in the kitchens, unlikely. You're a monk, she's maybe a little young to be a full monk. Or you're an educated noble. Well, at least this one's easy. You're an educated noble. That's correct. And now I get to ask a question. What made you come speak with me? I was curious, sir. I've never met someone from the kingdoms before, and given that we're at war, well, I thought that I should. Thank you for your honesty. I believe it is your turn now. Okay. Sly Fox sees that your clothes are very fine. So Sly Fox says you're not a barbarian. You work somewhere civilized, perhaps a palace court. That's correct. She's been a little vague there, perhaps a palace court, but, okay, that's still okay. Yes! Now you may ask me a question. Okay, are you a prince? Or wait, no, are you a knight? That was 2 questions, but the answer to both is no. In truth, I am a master of spies. Oh. And now I believe it's my turn. Leah. Sly Fox sees that you have beautiful white hair and fine clothes and a crown. Leah's hands fidget. Sly Fox says, you are someone very special, you are someone powerful, or you are someone dangerous. Well, we don't know for sure because obviously she looks like Azura, which is why we're thinking this. But we don't know for sure that like this power is passed down generationally, and in fact, that book of mythology that we read in the library suggests that she actually had to go and obtain that power somehow. So, I think we're gonna go with you are someone very special. Leah averts her eyes at first, then slowly smiles. Yes, I suppose I am. What is your question? So we got another legend point, so we got it right. Leah, are you the Empress's daughter? Leah shuffles uncomfortably for a moment, then squares her shoulders and looks you directly in the eyes. The lady and the liar, so we've earned Leah's trust, we've gained an achievement. Yes. Your turn. Sly Fox sees that you have kind and honest eyes. Sly Fox says... Leah hesitates, her eyes flicking up to meet yours for a brief moment. Sly Fox says you're a good man. Oh, Leah, honey. Honey, no. No, this is not a good man. This is an okay man. Like, he wants to be a good man. I feel like Raydan wants to be a good man, but he's kind of like almost a quintessential Slytherin, where he's very cunning, probably more loyal than he lets on, but he definitely tends to be out for himself at the end of the day. On that one, I'm afraid you are dead wrong. Suddenly, the door to the dungeon flies open, and the Empress enters, flanked by guards. Fetch the spymaster and bring him to... Leah, what are you doing here? I was just visiting Sir Raydan. We were playing a game, and enough! The soldiers shrink away. Leah flinches, but stands tall. I mean, you do kind of feel like maybe your mom won't kill you, I guess. We were just talking. Classic little kid. The Empress's eyes narrow, then a warm smile spreads across her face. Of course you were a child, of course. But I must speak with our new friend as well. Please run along now, return to your studies. Leah gives you one last look, then lowers her head and starts toward the door. Yes, Mother. The Empress's eyes follow after her, distracted for a moment. Then her attention returns to you. Bring him to the gardens. Azura turns on her heel and swiftly departs as a dozen guards crowd into your cell. Are you sure you brought enough friends? The unamused guard seize hold of you. Wonder if Chad's among them. Is Chad among them? I hope Chad's there. Your captors haul you to the palace courtyard, where the Empress awaits with her personal escort. Sir Joran. Realm rat. Thank you for joining me. Certainly, though I fear I'm overdressed. You held up your shackled wrists. You are funny, spymaster. I can see why my daughter took such interest in you. The Empress invites you to walk alongside her. Joran, glowering, falls in close behind. Tell me, what did you think of her? Leah? I think she is very kind, quite intelligent, or most unlike you. Wow, don't insult this woman if we're trying to gain her trust. I feel like Raydan's smarter than that. Very kind. Very kind or quite intelligent. But, let's go with quite intelligent. My daughter is educated, yes, but naive. Countless tutors at her disposal, yet she still fails to grasp the one lesson I beg of her to learn. What wisdom is that, Your Radiance? That kindness and trust are precious gems, and a ruler must spend them with the utmost caution. You approach the palace gardens. I suppose you assumed your display with the crossbow would buy my trust. No, Your Radiance. I would not dare to presume you fool enough to trust me. I hoped merely to borrow your ear, nothing more. Some would say an ear is the greatest vulnerability a ruler could lend a spy. Joran here has counseled me to kill you and be done with it. Well, if she was smart, that's what she'd do, yes. Honest advice from a loyal soldier. But a soldier is a hammer, your radiance, and a hammer regards every uncertainty as a nail. Okay, that's a thing to say. You dare! Azura dismisses Joran with a wave. Your radiance? Leave us. Leave him? Alone with you? Your radiance, he could be dangerous. Azura's laugh echoes across the courtyard. And you would protect me, is that it? My great champion, who was defeated by a decrepit brute with a club. Which was our champion, by the way. Joran's face burns with shame. Begone! Joran bows, staring daggers in your direction, and stalks away. I do not trust you, Raydan like hell, but I would hear what you have to say. Come. You follow the Empress to the center of the gardens. She takes a seat at the fountain's edge. You are master of spies for Queen Kenna Rhys of Stormholt. I was, your radiance, yes. And now you've just decided to change sides. I have. Miraculously thunderstruck by the sudden light of reason, I suppose. Something like that. Azura stares silently into you for what seems like an eternity. Finally, she speaks. You are a stray beast, spymaster, who has already bitten the hand of one master. Give me one reason I should believe that you won't bite mine. Well, because you do shoot lightning out of your hands and eyes and, like, suck people's life forces, which, to be fair, Kenna can't do. So, like, I feel like that's a lot of reason to, like, trust you, but whatever. So we have the options of because I wish to be on the winning side, or because the good you can do outweighs the bad. I feel like we should be somewhat honest here and say I wish to be on the winning side, because that will fall in line with our story instead of, like, the good you can do outweighs the bad. That makes us sound way more, like, altruistic than we have appeared up till now, so I wish to be on the winning side. Until the wind turns in Stormholt's favor, is that it? Oh, well, that didn't. Alright, whatever. With me on your side, it won't. Azura seems skeptical. If that is true, then tell me, what is your measure of Kenna Rhys as a ruler, as a woman? Kenna is more cunning than you might think, or compassionate but naive. Again, like, I feel like we shouldn't really lie so much, because, like, Azura then is gonna, like, if we say compassionate but naive, Azura's gonna think we're trying to make us underestimate Kenna, which doesn't seem like that's gonna help us much, so Kenna is more cunning than you might think. Is that so? Yes, your radiance. Then I shall have to be more careful around her. A miscalculation. Okay. Cool, so that was the wrong decision. That's awesome. But I grow tired of interrogation. Come, spymaster. I am sure you must have questions of your own. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say that I have a problem with this, because this is asking me to play very hard to the tropes, even though we show some characters to be genre savvy, like Dom. So, like, you want me to play to the tropes, but, like, playing to the tropes is never actually the smart thing to do in that situation. So I feel like Raydan would know that and like act accordingly, but no, this wants me to make him deliberately obtuse, and I'm not gonna do that. I don't know, because, like, I feel like Azura would see through it if we were trying to make Kenna sound less than what she actually is. Anyway. Come, spymaster, I am sure you must have questions of your own. I do, in fact. Please, ask them freely now, and I will answer as best as I can. I wonder, how does your power work? What do you think of these gardens? Or do you speak ancient Irithi? Okay, what do you think of these gardens? Sounds kind of silly. Do you speak ancient Irithi? Do we have, like, an innocent reason to answer that question? I don't know. How does your power work? I'm also not sure we have, like, an innocent reason to ask that question either, but it's a little less out of left field than ancient Irithi is, so how does your power work? Azura's eyes instantly narrow. Why do you wish to know? Only curiosity, Your Radiance. So we were supposed to ask her what she thinks of the gardens. Okay. Again, like, being deliberately obtuse is not usually the best course of action. Enough! Azura casts an appraising eye over you. If this is all some ruse, spymaster, then you were a very poor agent to send. Nailed it! Your clumsy responses put Azura at ease. Okay, so that's cool. But you may yet have your use. A mischievous smile spreads across her face. Would you care to dine with me? Alright, so she actually thinks that we're on her side because I was super clumsy. Okay. That is supposed to not happen. Alright. Cool. So, what? She crooks a finger beneath your chin, tracing the blade of her nail across along the curve of your neck. I've had a noonday meal set in the gardens. You're welcome to join me. Only if Joran serves us. That can be arranged, unless you prefer the dungeons. Alright, we're gonna... because it's not playing my game audio here anymore, so... mute that. Okay. Unless you prefer the dungeons. Will you play along with the Empress's flirtations? This could be an opportunity to gain her trust, not to mention valuable intel that might help Kenna. I should accept the Empress's invitation for 20 coins or respectfully decline. Well, I ain't gonna spend the money, so we're gonna respectfully decline. Humph. So be it then. The Empress stands suddenly and motions for the guards. Chad? Yes, Your Radiance? I'm finished with this prisoner. Return him to his cell. Yes, Your Radiance. The guard seizes you by the shoulder and begins to haul you away. Oh, and Raydan? Sleep well. Tomorrow we march on Stormhold. All right, so this is progressing fast. Okay, so our chapter progress. You went behind enemy lines to gain the trust of the princess or the Empress. You conferred with an agent of the Black Asps, but declined his offer to sneak you a weapon. You gained the trust of Leah, the Empress's daughter. You survived a battle of wits with Empress Azura and learned of an imminent attack on Stormhold. So our overall progress, there's nothing changed from the last one. I have a feeling this 3 question marks here is going to be Leah, who we're going to probably have to like pay to recruit, and of course we're not going to be able to recruit her, but you know, whatever. So our legend score is now 43 out of a possible 50. I wonder if we didn't miss some stuff. Our weapons we now have available 0 out of 20, allies 15 out of 45, 2 out of 12 troops, and we have made 40 out of 90 choices. Our army score is now 100 out of 217. We're still not even halfway there, people, to what we could have if we spent money on this. But, again, I've played through these ones before, and we're usually fine, so we've reached the end of the chapter. You can restart this chapter or continue on. Again, I'm going to leave it here. We're going to see how this video turns out. Hopefully it turns out well, because I really want you guys to be able to hear the game audio. Unfortunately, since I'm on a Mac, you have to install separate drivers, separate kernel extensions, and the one kernel extension that has a chance of working won't install. So that sucks. So I'm going to have to find a way to basically record the audio with another mic, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that just yet, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, so I will catch you guys later.